Grace and peace to you in fullest measure. Thank you for joining us for our Good Friday service. We are in the midst of a pandemic. It's an extraordinary time, and it is a time when our understanding or our sense of our own mortality has been heightened. Let us now go to Golgotha and wait and worship and be with those who were there.
Last night, we encountered three people who witnessed this incredible drama. Mary, friend of Jesus; Simon Peter; Judas. Tonight, we encounter three more: a Roman soldier, Mary, mother of Jesus, and Salome. It was a true story. It was painful and rich and life-changing for generations and generations, but how much more so for those who lived then and loved this man named Jesus. Let us allow these ancient people to call us more deeply into our faith story. When we left the story last night, we were with Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, and we could not stay awake.
After dinner, they went to the Garden of Gethsemane, and Jesus prayed. And then the soldiers came, and they arrested Jesus. They took him to the council and to the governor's palace, where they tried to make it look like a trial, but it wasn't. And then finally they led him away to the place where criminals were hung, always on crosses, so that they would die slowly, painfully. Jesus was hung between two other crosses, bandits on each side of him. And the sign over Jesus' cross said, "This was the King of the Jews."
this I die in sorrow. My faith make me thy friend.
The scene was horrifying. Not that I wasn't used to crucifixions. They were the favored way of putting prisoners to death by the Romans, and so I'd assisted many times. But I heard about this man, Jesus. We thought Barabbas was going to be on this cross, but the crowds had become almost out of control, and I'd heard that Pilate simply washed his hands off it, sent this one to die just to shut them up. Who knows what these crowds really were screaming about? There was so much confusion and rumor. No one will probably ever know the truth, is what I think. But when the reality hit his followers that Jesus was really going to die, and they saw him heading to Golgotha with the cross, the horror really began. Even the heavens seemed to be wailing as storms began to appear. It gave me a chill, I'm going to tell you. These are not things I want to tell you. I'm a soldier, but it's always easier protecting others than protecting yourself. From the mothers who beg for mercy for their sons, from those who insist on waiting the hours and even days it takes to die this agonizing death. Being a soldier can't always protect you from what you witness firsthand, like hearing Jesus talk to the prisoners on the other two crosses next to him. The promise that death is not the end for them. And then he looked at me, right at me, and he spoke the words, "I'll hear for the rest of my life." And it was that mean I can no longer do this job anymore. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Later, after he died, they pierced him in his side. I still don't understand why, but in that moment, I knew that he was truly the Son of God. His blood poured out, just like the love he poured out for his people. The blood flowed from his side. The blood flowed. The love flowed.
I invite you to place your red cloth on your table at this time, along with your black cloth.
Lying near the cross of Jesus were his mother and some other women he had known well. When he saw his mother and the disciple John there in front of him, Jesus said to his mother, "Take this son in my place." And to John he said, "Take good care of my mother."
My son, from the moment the angel said to me, "You will bear a son," my life was no longer my own. And yet it was every bit mine. Moments treasured, remembered in my heart alone. Every moment he grew within me, every day of his youth, every movement of his ministry from that day in Cana to the present minute. At times, the pain of watching him give his life away seemed harder to bear than the wonder of this unimaginable life that God has given me, especially now. In this moment, I'm not just the mother of Jesus shedding tears for my son. I'm the tears of any mother who has seen her child die before her. I'm the tears of any mother who has lost children in war or in injustice. I'm the tears of all loved ones who cannot save loved ones as they starve or are taken by illness or injury or are swept away by a tsunami or flood. I know the tears of mothers whose children lose their lives to addiction or are consumed by depression or who are lost to violence. And I am the tears of all those who do not know the fate of their missing ones. I am the tears.
I invite you to place your blue cloth on your table at this time, along with the black cloth and the red cloth.
Mark's Gospel mentions our last character at the scene of the cross. Some women were watching from a distance. Among them were Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James the Younger and of Joseph, and Salome. Salome later accompanies the women to the tomb.
I was there at the cross, just as I had been there for the last several months, one of his many followers. But I was not just a follower. I was companion to Mary, friend of Jesus, and the other Mary, mother of Jesus. And at this moment, they truly needed a friend. So many of the followers had fled as soon as the guards had come to the garden that night. But I could not leave. I would stay with my sisters, my friends, at the cross and through the agonizing depth of Sabbath, keeping stillness until it was time to anoint and prepare his body for burial. I knew how to tend to the dead. Tending to his body would perhaps help me find comfort in the darkness, there in the tomb with the memory of him even in his lifeless body. I would let my movements carry me into a future I was afraid I could not face. And so I keep my lamp close so that I could light it and lead us to the tomb after the Sabbath had passed. For now I carry the lamp to keep us company in this vigil. For I know, deep down, that nothing can snuff out the light, the hope that he gave to all of us. We carry it within.
I invite each person in your household to light a candle and hold it while we sing our closing hymn.